welcome to Wholesome Roots. Whew, I tell you, had a rough night last night. We had a very unexpected thing happen that nearly cost us the life of one of our goats. And if Ryan had not discovered it when he had, she would have probably died. It was not fun. So last night, Ryan had already put the goats away and given them their dinner and said goodnight to them. But he wanted to let Khaleesi stay out a little longer because she hadn't eaten her dinner yet. And when we put the dinner in the stall with her in the barn, it gets ants all over it. So, and then she won't eat it. So, I don't know where the ants are coming from, by the way. I've looked. I can't find a single sign of them anywhere until we put the food in there. And they don't do that for the goat food. It's weird. So anyway, he decided to leave her out later than usual and have dinner and everything. And he went to go do her walk later in the evening than usual, and he walked her around the perimeter, and he came in and he put her in her stall, and then he went to go say goodnight to the goats again, which he doesn't normally do 2 good nights, but he loves his goats, and so just being in the barn means he's got to go say hello to all of them. And when he came up to the stall that has the young doelings with Fancy 2 and the babies, he thought, that's a weird position for Fancy 2. She was down on her front knees, and she had one of our doelings, the older doelings, not hers, positioned above her. And he was like, what is going on? And then he looked closer, and the doeling had somehow wedged her head inside of Fancy 2's collar and was pulling up on her collar and strangulating her severely. She was almost unconscious. She was not moving. She was not making a sound. She was not responding. She was awake. She was conscious, but barely. And she had her hind legs up. She was still supporting herself with the hind part of her body, but she had, you know, collapsed on the front part. And he just quickly went into action, removed the collar, got her standing up into a standing position so that her circulation would come back and she could start breathing. And that's when he sent me the text message, and I was in the house with the boys, and I was like, what? Is she okay? Like, you know, and he's like, I think so. She's shaking really bad. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's not good. And so I said, Rowan, I'm locking this door. Don't let your brother out. You boys be good. I'll be right back. And I ran down to the barn, and I was just so heartbroken to see her trembling and shaking like that. She was really not okay. She was in shock, and she wasn't doing well, and it was scary, and it was very scary to, you know, not know what do I do now? Do I stay with her all night? Do I check on her every hour? Like, how do I treat shock? How, you know, like, I've never had to go through shock. Is she gonna be okay? Are there any lasting results from the strangulation? Like, should I worry about her throat and being able to swallow? I mean, like, so many questions, so many fears come through my mind when I have anything happen with my goats, and to have something so near death was just absolutely terrifying. So I did what I knew to do with any other situation with an animal that's been injured or anything like that, or in shock of any sort. I gave her some Nutri-Drench to boost her blood sugar and her vitamins and everything. And then I went to go give her a vitamin B complex shot, because that really helps with stress. And I had no syringes. I had needles and no syringes left. And I was like, great. So then I was even more worried that I couldn't do the one thing that I knew to do. But all in all, I stayed with her for about a half an hour as she improved. She was slowly coming out of the shakes and into trembling. And by the time I left her, she was trembling a little bit, but pretty stable. She didn't seem like she was, like, distressed. She just seemed like shocked, you know, literally. She was just standing there like, and not moving and not really doing anything. She wasn't like walking around the stall. She was just standing there trying to catch her breath still, I guess. And boy, that just wrecked my heart. I hate seeing my goats in a difficult situation. And so I just patted on her and told her how much I loved her and tried to keep her calm and, you know, be gentle with her to help her get through it. And I think after a little while I was noticing the Nutri-Drench had kind of helped. She kind of perked up a little bit, and of course when I was giving her the Nutri-Drench she was biting me, so that's a good sign. And so yeah, that was really scary. And the hard part was I was calling my mentor and she wasn't answering because she had her volume off. And so I didn't know who to call or what to do. Like, I just felt like so alone. Like my baby is suffering and I don't know what to do. So you see, she seems fine now. I did go back and check on her late in the night just before I went to sleep, just to make sure she was up and moving. And she was. Yeah, even though it was bedtime, she seemed okay. I have seen her licking her lips like that a lot, and I don't know if it's because she, you know, bit her tongue or something while she was being strangled. Poor girl, but she seems normal, so that's good. I am gonna take her temperature again, just to make sure that her temperature is normal as well. Last night before bedtime when I came down, I checked her temperature and it was low. And it should not be low. Low is scary. Low is very scary. But that is a common symptom of shock. So I made sure I got her warmed up and made sure that her temperature came up just a few decimals before I left her. So I pray and hope that she doesn't have any lasting problems from this. This was a very scary situation. And what really scares me about this is if Ryan hadn't been here, she would have probably passed and we would have found her in the morning and not known what happened. And that's just terrifying. But her collar is a breakaway collar. It was supposed to break when tension was put on it. So I'm going to be looking into new collars for the goats because this was terrifying. And I know I have some goats that have collars that are definitely not breakaway collars. So if anything happens to them with their collar, gets caught on anything, then that's a huge, huge risk to their life. And I thought I was safe because I didn't think we had anything that they could get caught on. I make sure that there's nothing. There's no little nails poking out anywhere, anything that they could get a collar caught on. And this just proves that even when you think you have everything covered, it's not, because another goat is what she got caught on. Which, you know, tells me that I failed in a big way because her collar was too loose. If her collar was loose enough for a doe to put, a little doeling to put its head into the collar with her, it was too loose. So I need to reevaluate my collar situation here, and hopefully we can find a way to purchase better collars that are safer, because I can't, I don't want anything to happen to my baby or any of my babies. Good news, she is eating. And I haven't heard her coughing or anything after trying to eat. So it seems like everything's functioning okay in her throat. Which is a relief for me, because that was one of my fears or worries for her. I just want to take a minute to have a little shady appreciation. This girl has been nursing her baby still and giving me more milk than usual. So I'm giving her extra grain. You give me more milk, I'll give you more grain. That's how it works in this farm. Her body condition score is perfect. There are no ribs showing. There's a nice amount of flesh on her backbone and her hip bones. And I noticed she was in full heat yesterday, so Ryan put her in with Bo last night. And it looks like we can count her as being bred or going to be bred tonight on her other date with Bo. I haven't been keeping them together during the day because they scream, but maybe I should today if I think she's in heat. I want to make sure that she's bred. So that means that Rocky and Shady, if both of these breedings take, will be due at like the exact same time. So that's kind of cool. I love it when we have babies back to back. It's so sweet. I'm kind of really wishing that we had done some breedings earlier in the season and that we were like already halfway through pregnancies for some of them at least, because I am so anxious for babies. But I don't like the babies being born when it's super cold outside, because then you got to have the heat lamp on, and I just feel like, you know, I want nature to take its course in the most efficient way as possible without having to have heat lamps on them. And I may still end up having to put a heat lamp if we have a cold night after they're born. But we are so excited to have breeding happening and new goats, even if it's 5 months away. 5 months is such a long time to wait, isn't it? But I am excited. And they really weren't coming into heat before now, so it's their natural cycle to be bred now anyway. And I do have some friends, other goat farmers, that have goats that are more than halfway through their pregnancies, and I'm just like, okay, I'll just have to gloat in everybody else's births. I'll be like, another baby was born, because they're gonna post pictures on Facebook and I get to watch and see all their babies born. So I'll probably be a wreck come February, March, because I'll be like, I want a baby now, and I won't have any. But it's good. I think it's better to wait for us. Personally, I think it works better for our schedule. Easy, girl, easy. Good girl. Shady can be a little bit of a kicker when we first get started, but she usually calms down. Sometimes I have to hold the bucket with one hand, but right now I'm holding the camera with one hand. So, what I was going to say is, I think it's really important that if you're doing anything with animals, really, I am specifically talking about goats because that's what I tend to give the most advice about, but with any animal that you're doing research on, remember to always listen to the research from different viewpoints. You want to look at government research, you want to look at university research, you want to look at backyard farmers, you want to look at big farmers, you want to look at all the different sources. And you have to figure out what's going to work best for you in your situation. My advice is not always going to be the best advice for your situation. It could be. It could be the best advice. But you have to adjust your management with what is going to work for your farm. Everybody is different. Everybody has a different schedule that they follow. Everybody has different techniques that they use. It's just every single aspect has many, many answers. So don't tune in to just one answer as the solid, correct answer, because that's not the case. Lots of people breed earlier than me, and lots of people breed later than me, and that's okay. You just make do with what you have to work with, and if that works best for you, then by all means do so. Lots of people milk twice a day. I don't. I milk once a day. I would milk twice a day if I needed more milk, but at this time it's just working out fine for me, and the extra work of having to milk a second time would probably be too much for me, and I know that. As much as I could probably find a way to unload the milk if I did do it twice, I don't have the energy to do it twice. I have a lot going on in my day as it is with the homeschooling and the homestead and taking care of all these animals. And the other thing is what time you milk. There's this misconception that you have to milk animals at the crack of dawn. That's the only time it's okay in the morning, is right when the sun's peeking over the horizon. Well, I'll tell you what, we don't. We do not milk early. I am not an early waker. But more importantly, Rowan and Liam are not up early. They sleep in. We have a very different schedule than most families. We allow them to stay up at night and go to sleep when they're ready. So they do stay up later than most young kids, but they sleep in later too. So they're getting a full night's rest. It's just more on our schedule. She didn't like me switching teats. So you must go with what works for you guys and not try to follow the norm, not try to follow what's correct. Do what's right for you, and that is going to work the best on your farm. Hi, Kitty. Kitty's always looking over the top with this toothy grin. She's so silly. I was milking really slow while I was filming because I was distracted. And so when I turned off the camera, I was like, whew, that's better. I was going so much faster. What are you nibbling me for? And I was going so fast that I squirted myself. I was like, woo! Shot of warm milk on the belly. That'll wake you up in the morning. Right, Shady? Did you eat it all? You ready to go back? So now Shady is separated at night from Cream. So now she goes in, not Cream. That's Rocky's baby. Precious. So now she's gonna go in the doling stall and Precious is going to attack her udder. Let's see how long it takes for Precious to attack Mama's udder. No, you gotta stay in here. Hi, Precious. You got your mama? You're not gonna do it because I got the camera on you? Oh, you're making a liar out of me, Precious. I think it's because Precious wants to get past me and out the door. Juniper, you can't nurse on her. That's not your mama. Sweet babies. Precious, you're so sweet. You gonna give the camera kisses? You're a beautiful goat. You are beautiful. You are. Yes, you are. I love your markings on your face. Gorgeous. Beautiful goat. You know when I'm turning on the camera. You little stinker. You were about to go yours. You're silly. Don't choke. Don't choke. Go nurse. Everybody wants to see you nurse. Or not. Fine. I'm going to go back to work. It is a nice temperature outside. It's high 60s. And it's overcast, so it's a little break from the heat. These goats are enjoying this weather, I think. It's a little wet from a rain that came through last night, but it should dry up in no time. And they got fresh, dry hay to eat, so they're happy.
I am going to put this grasshopper in my hand to plant at the porch when we're going back at the house.
Okay, sounds like a plan. You too? Back to the house?
He doesn't have a bug.
He doesn't have a bug to put at the house? Well, he's gonna watch you do it though, huh? Come on, Liam, let's watch Rowan.
Come on.
I can't tell you how relieved I am to see Fancy 2 acting normal today. I was so scared she was gonna be kind of like lethargic or something, or not eat or something, you know, but she is acting like her typical self. The only hard part is she's one of my stubborn ones, so when she stopped to eat blackberry instead of going with the herd, I had to just push her from the bud. I had no collar to grab. I'm gonna wait till I get a good collar to put on her because she seems to find her way into trouble, so we want to be careful. What, Liam? What is it? Boy. What is it, Liam? Huh? What is it, Liam? A playground?
Yeah.
Oh, we're not doing that right now. We gotta go in and eat lunch.
Here is the grasshopper. Now
all right.
I'm going to put it in here.
You're gonna put it in my mum? You gonna let it eat that, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it doesn't like mums. It's hopping away.
Bye, grasshopper.
Bye, grasshopper.
Or maybe he wants to eat that one.
Smile.
Am I supposed to say again, Mommy?
You can say thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching Wholesome Roots. Like and share. Comment down the video. See. I hope you like it, and we'll see you next time on Wholesome Roots.
Perfect. We'll see you next time. Yay! You want to say it too?
Okay.
Good job.
Okay. When I count to 5, then you turn off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.